What's up, guys? I am out in the garage in the cold because I had one more Silverado that I had to get rid of before the weather gets really bad. And this is an '06, so Gen 4 5.3. Got it cheap because it had a serious misfire on cylinders 1 and 3, completely dead. This is pretty funny. Wait till you see what was the reason for all this. All right, so in the garage, like I said, '06 5.3. Bought this somebody, obviously, just for the engine and transmission. It's a two-wheel drive, so I get a 4L60 out of it that I don't have to take apart and change to a two-wheel, which is cool. It's also flex fuel, which is great, because somewhere on here is a flex fuel sensor, because I would like to try playing around with that stuff at some point. But anyway, back to this thing. So this thing's running terrible when I bought it. Misfire on 1 and 3. I start off just taking a look at it, did the usual visual on it. One coil looks a little dirtier than the others. The plug wires are new. Quick checks. Had spark, so I knew that was an issue. It was not an issue. Could be in injectors, but I didn't want to mess with those right now. So first thing real quick, pull the spark plug out of cylinder 1 and see what it looks like. All right, hopefully this focuses in. There you go. Take a look at that. That is a majorly hammered spark plug. So first thing I see that, I'm like, oh great, okay. What in the world happened in this engine? Is there a hole in the piston? Is something bouncing around in there? How do you do that? How is that even possible? That ground strap is smashed right down over the center electrode. So I start the engine with the plug removed. Got compression, blowing out the hole, no problem. Said, okay, well, there's not a hole in the piston. I go to take a look to change the plug, or actually not change the plug. What I was going to do is put a borescope in the plug hole to see if I could see what was inside the cylinder. And I put the scope in and I see this sticking out before I even got the scope in the cylinder. I'm like, what in the world? It's an anti-fouler. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. This basically threads into the cylinder head and extends the spark plug back. So if you were burning oil or thought you had bad cylinder, you could push the plug back and get it out of the way. Well, the problem is that doesn't work with a long threaded plug. So this plug basically just crushed itself inside this thing and was dead short. I couldn't believe it. First, I thought it was an adapter for a compression tester. But the reason I know it wasn't is because cylinder 3 was exactly the same way. Another one of these in there, and the plug destroyed. I couldn't believe it. No clue. That's definitely a new one for me. So I just pulled the anti-foulers out, threw a couple used spark plugs in there. And check this out. Unreal. Runs great. I mean, somebody could have abandoned this truck, and brought it, sold it, traded it in, whatever. It ended up in an auction because it was running so bad, and it was a really clean truck. And that's all it was. Unreal. Good for me. Hope it was good for whoever used to own this truck and got something new, but awesome. So, moral of the story. Don't use anti-foulers. You don't need these. Don't use them. This thing doesn't even burn oil. It doesn't smoke. I don't even know why they're in there. Who knows? Anyway, see ya. Was back on the 55 Buick project.